Reach! Probably one of the most hated and loved Halo games that Bungie has ever made, when they aren't suing their ex-employees and possibly long-time friend just because they were uploading music they spent countless hours on just for it to be replaced in the trailer of a new game. Yes, Activision, I'm on to you! So, let's begin with why people did not like Reach. Even though I can only think of one reason, which I think is just completely and utterly stupid if you ask me. And yeah, I hear you in the back there. No one gives a shit what you think. And yeah, you're right. Person that never leaves their mum's basement just because they fear if they go outside for too long, their skin is going to melt off, just like in that one scene in Indiana Jones, the Raider of the Lost Ark. Anyway, to put things simply, game retconned book, armor abilities, and no green Mr. Shoots a lot. Okay, so maybe the last one isn't true, but the first two are. In case you don't know already, I absolutely love Halo's lore. It's fascinating, mysterious, and at times, it's like a fucking horror movie that you can't tear your eyes away from, because even that's got some brilliant things that I'll talk about when we get to the respective game for it. If you don't know already, there was a book, yes, this book, that came out before the first Halo game, Halo Combat Evolved. In it, the author details the fall of the human fortress world Reach. And personally, I haven't read it, because I have other shit to do, apparently. The game, however, completely throws the book out, which really upset the lore-centered side of Halo's community, even though they were told that the events in the games comes before the fucking books. On a side note, though, I do see why people were a little upset about it, as The Fall of Reach, the book, not the other versions of the story, did come out all the way back on the 30th of October, 2001? Jesus Christ almighty! There has been 3 separate adaptations of the same fucking story, which pisses me off a little, which actually fucking allows me to segue into the next part. Armor abilities are is the most controversial part of Reach's sandbox. Here's a quick list and some pictures to go with it. You have Sprint, Jetpack Evade, Drop Shield, Active Camo, which is butt fucking useless by the way, Hologram, which can work on enemies if they're dumb pieces of shit, and Armor Lock. In case you couldn't tell, I absolutely fucking hate Armor Lock. It's essentially a get out of jail free card for like 30 seconds, and on top of that, it slows the match down to an absolute crawl. I mean, if you think about it, Sprint's kind of the same way, just you're able to move in a much faster speed very quickly. And if the person who is using Armor Lock gets stuck with a plasma grenade just before they come out of it, they get blown up anyway. So it's not really all that useful now, is it? And that's all I really have to say about that, apart from just reminding you that in Halo, you are a 7-foot-tall super soldier, so it doesn't really matter if Sprint is in the game or not. It's as simple as not fucking using it! Let's talk about the campaign for a bit. You start off in the campaign meeting the members of Noble Team. June, who's the quiet one and the sniper. Kat, who's initially an absolute bitch to you and is the brains of Noble Team, which is kind of ironic now that I think about it, since she gets sniped in the head. Then you have Emil, the edgy knife fanatic with a big fuck-off kukri. Then Carter, the leader of Noble. And lastly, George, the absolute fucking behemoth of a unit that lugs around a chain gun, which is kind of overkill, don't you think? Like, just a little bit? No? Just me? Okay. As you play through the campaign, you have your eyes open to the fact that Spartans, just like any other mortal, can be killed if they aren't careful, looking at you, Emil. And on top of that, you get to see how much of an actual threat the Covenant posed to humanity as they glass one of the most heavily fortified colony worlds that humans have, in just a matter of months. Reach also has brilliant environmental storytelling as well, which some of the newer games seem to lack. I mean, just walking throughout some of the maps by yourself just gives you the sense that you just missed everyone. Equipment strewn about and left abandoned, monitors on the walls and desks left turned on. It doesn't need that level of it, but the developers at Bungie thought they'd put little details like that in the game so that people would take notice of those small details when exploring the maps. Speaking of environmental storytelling, the next game is Combat Evolved, which is very atmospheric in very specific parts of it. Right, so, hope you enjoyed this. I know it's a little different from what I normally do on this channel, but I feel like trying out some new things to give myself a bit more variety. All the usual links are in the description below, and I hope to see you for the review of Halo Combat Evolved.